Welcome to the Meredith Taylor Show. Meredith is a former Division I SEC college golfer and is now the owner of McKellar Enterprises. Join the conversations with Meredith and other notable guests covering sports, leadership, personal growth, and so much more. Now, your host, Meredith Taylor.
Welcome back to the show. We are diving deep into a topic today that's often overlooked in the coaching world, but I know it to be true that it's absolutely critical for success on the golf course, especially for those who are trying to be competitive in tournament golf. So beyond fundamentals, the number one topic that I work with my students on is mental toughness. Honestly, this is a topic where I have seen the most growth happen just in their overall performance. So today I want to cover focus, visualization, emotional regulation, and also a topic called reframing. I'll give you some of my actionable strategies you can actually implement into your next round. Golf is as much mental as it is physical. During my high school years, I was extremely competitive basketball player. And the harder I played, the better I played. And so transitioning over to the game of golf, I realized very quickly that just trying harder, playing harder, and internally tearing myself down didn't work in this sport. You quickly realize any negativity or bad body language, negative self-talk, it's such a detriment to your game. But on the contrary, a strong mental game can save you strokes and just make golf more fun. So today I'm going to give some of the lessons that I've learned from some of the greats like Annika Sorenstam and world-renowned sports psychologist Dr. Bob Rotella. He actually came to talk to us several times during my time as a player at the University of South Carolina. And I know this is something that can be worked on. It can be taught. And it's something that I share with my students today. And I just know firsthand that, mental toughness, self-belief, competitiveness, resiliency, positive self-talk and positive body language, what that can do for your golf game. And I just know that this is going to help a lot of people because I've helped hundreds of my students with this topic. So let's dive in. Mental toughness in golf, it's about staying focused, resilient, and confident no matter what the course throws at you. And it's this ability to execute your shot under pressure. It's the ability to bounce back from a tough hole where you made bogey or double. And to keep your emotions in check when the stakes are high. So in golf, you're absolutely on your own out there. And there's no one to lean on but yourself. There's no teammates. And that's where this mental toughness comes in. It's that inner coach. It's that inner strength to stay present and to execute and to perform. Golf is a mental marathon. You have hours upon hours on the golf course. You're waiting in between shots, which gives your mind plenty of time to wander. Or worse, just to overthink things. It's a sport where you obviously don't have timeouts. You don't have breaks. There's no halftime. A coach doesn't come out to the mound and calm you down. It's just you and it's your internal thoughts. And so the precision required in golf is very unforgiving. Any tiny lapse in focus and your ball's all of a sudden in a hazard, right? It's the mental toughness that keeps you locked in despite all of these obstacles. You hear very often this slogan, it's one shot at a time. Focus on the present, stay present. And what people don't share is how on earth do I do that in the heat of competition? So I'm going to try to give you a couple practical tips. So one thing that helped me was I didn't think about anything golf related in between my shots. So whether that's striking up a conversation with my playing partners, it's, talking about movies, shows, music or food, like where are we going to dinner tonight, or sports teams, like anything to get your mind off of golf in between your shots. And then once you get to your golf ball, we lock back in to our routine. Also, I developed having short-term memory. So you can't let the last shot, if it was a bad shot, creep into the next 5 shots or the next 5 holes. It's more of a next play mentality, or for us, it's next shot mentality. And the way we do this is having a go-to task after a bad shot. So for example, for me, I would always have, a towel on my golf bag, and I would use one corner of it to have that like towel wet to clean my grooves, to clean my clubs. And so whenever I'd hit a bad shot and it was for some reason like lingering longer than normal, I would make a point to say, okay, I have to be quote unquote over it and move on by the time I finished cleaning my club. So it's like my physical cue that I've got about 10 more seconds to react to that bad shot. And then by the time I finish cleaning my club, I need to move on. Flip the switch. Let's get on to the next shot. Like, let it go. And you avoid the domino effect of it leading to a string of bad shots because you can't get your emotions in check. So that next play, next shot mentality, and just having something, whether it's one side of your towel is wet for cleaning grooves, that was my way of having a physical cue that at the end of this 10 seconds, I got to move on. Once the moment that I finish cleaning my grooves, we reset, get your emotions in check, and then move on. There's also beauty in a pre-shot routine that is consistent every single time. So you could literally put a stopwatch on my pre-shot routine to the second. I had it dialed in to the point where you could literally time it. And it was that consistent. And part of that routine is visualization. So I am visualizing the perfect shot. I'm hearing the sound, and you all know that sound, the sound of a pure strike. So I'm seeing the trajectory, I'm seeing it hit the green where I want it to, and rolling to the pin. And there are studies that show visualization can improve performance by up to 30% because it's building that confidence, which reduces anxiety. So the other thing that I learned from reading Annika Sorenstam's book and hearing her talk was there's a thinking box when you're behind the ball. And I make this part of my pre-shot routine. And then the moment you step forward is a playing box. So what does that mean? It means that behind the golf ball, as part of my routine, I'm thinking about all of the metrics, like what's my yardage? Is it uphill? Is it downhill? Am I on a side hill? So I need to aim more a certain way. What's my lie? Am I in the fairway? Am I in the rough? Am I standing on pine straw? Like, let me think about the wind. Is it hot today? Is it cold? That's going to affect my shot. So I'm taking all these things into account, right? Because I got to get the right yardage based on all of these factors. So I'm in the thinking box behind the ball. And so once I know I have the right yardage, I know I have the right club. So now I'm committed to that. So now it's all about course management. Like, where do I see this ball landing? Do I need to avoid certain areas around this green? Are there bunkers left? Is there water short? All these sorts of things. Like, we have to figure out all of this behind the golf ball. And I'm giving myself like the highest probability chance to get out of there with a par at worst. So for some people, it can be, you're taking a deep breath. It could be practice swing. It could be visualization of the trajectory on that start line. Once I've done all of the pre-shot routine and I've thought about all the metrics that I needed to get to that number. So, okay, all of that's while I'm behind the golf ball. And the moment that I step forward, I've totally committed to that number, to all the conditions, etc. So now I can flip that switch in my brain that goes straight into the quote unquote playing box. And so there's nothing technical going on in my brain. I've already done all the work, right? So I'm not worried about, is this the right club? I don't know. I've already determined all of the factors. So now, as I step forward, I'm just thinking about my setup and my target. It's very simplistic. So I step into the shot with 100% confidence and 100% clarity on my thought process of how I got to the number and the conditions, and all of that's already been factored in the quote unquote thinking box, meaning behind the golf ball. And so that helped me to step forward with 100% confidence that I've got the right club, I've got the right number, and all of those things were taken care of. And now I turn my brain off and all I'm thinking about is the target. And it frees you up tremendously. And I've seen this with my students where they can mentally have that checklist of focusing on what they can control, which is thinking about all of these variables that are necessary to get to the right conclusion on that actual number. Secondly, using that pre-shot routine to take a deep breath. It's something that's repeatable. It's consistent. It's also very calming. And the next phase would be visualizing success and seeing that ball landing where you want it to. The other thing that I teach my students is, hey, we're all going to miss shots. It's bound to happen. You're going to have to get used to it. You're going to miss shots. And it's shocking to me how many kids that I teach, they initially think that they should never miss a shot, as if they're going to hit everything perfect for 18 holes. And, it's one of those things that you have to tell these kids, look, you're going to miss shots. Pros miss shots. You have to get used to, it's not a game of perfect, right? But if we can do everything that we can before the shot happens to mitigate risk, play the percentages to our favor, we can still step into this shot with confidence. Now, when we do miss a shot, what's the first thing that pops into our head? In my experience, the most normal human being reaction is it's going to be negative. It didn't turn out the way we thought it was going to turn out. We didn't execute the shot that we envisioned. Okay. This is where experience comes in. And this is where I can help my students the most, is they start to hear my dialogue and my voice when things don't go well. Because my mind has been trained to immediately flip to the positive. I trained my mind to do that. And it's called reframing. So over time, I trained my brain to immediately flip the moment I made a mistake. I will say, let's say I miss an iron shot, I'll say, all right, I'll still make par. I'm fine. No factor. And I'll say things like, oh, that's why I have a good short game, right? That's why I practice chipping. It's if I miss a shot, I can still get it up and down. It's no problem. It's one missed shot. It's not going to bother me. It won't affect my next shot because I've reframed it to the point where I can say, I'll still make par, which gets me to that next play mentality. So there's nothing that happens on a golf course that's going to bother me. It's not going to affect my mood. It definitely won't affect my confidence. It's not going to affect my mental toughness. And I'm going to compete as hard as I can, despite if I miss a shot. And we're going to miss shots. Like, understanding that is just part of that maturity that needs to happen. And a lot of the kids that I work with that think they should pure every shot every time, like I empathize with them because I thought that as well until I had someone tell me, look, you're going to have to let that go. We're not going to pure every shot every time. But when they didn't hit a pure shot, they'd get upset as if that was some sort of an attainable reality. And so I just have to give them hey, newsflash, you're going to miss shots. Like it's sometimes freeing to these kids. Like, oh, I don't have to be perfect and I'm not going to flush and pure every iron, or I'm not going to hit every fairway and every green, but I can still put a great score together. And that's the switch that happens is when my students get around me, they immediately become more positive. They're just going to become mentally tougher and learn how to compete, period. They just get tougher because they learn how to react when things don't go well and they don't go their way. They still know how to compete and stay in it mentally, keep that competitiveness in that situation. So I'll give you a story. I went to Pat Summit's basketball camp when I was in high school, and Carol Lawson was one of our camp counselors, and she's currently the head coach at Duke University. And one of her more viral pieces of content on Instagram, or it's probably everywhere now, but she was giving a speech to her team about how things don't get easier through life. You learn how to handle hard better, and mentally you get tougher through all of these situations. You know how to handle hard better. So mental toughness is honestly, it's a secret weapon in golf. It was for me, and I know it can be for you too. It's embracing adversity. It's being resilient, being tough, and being confident. Despite what happens on a golf course, we don't quit. We don't let it affect our mood. We don't let it affect our routine. And we definitely don't let it affect our confidence. Bad shots are going to happen, but give yourself 10 seconds and then we move on. Next play mentality. And remember, your mind is really your most powerful club in your bag. And I want you to start treating this part of the game with the same practice that you give your driver, the same kind of practice that you give your putter. This can be implemented into your next round. So start implementing these strategies, even the small ones, into your next round. You'll be shocked at the difference it makes. And now, if you want to work with me one-on-one, I'm going to put my email in the show notes. Reach out and let's master your mental toughness. Thank you all so much for the support. It's really meant the world to me. And until next time, God bless and go Gamecocks.
There are several ways to support the show. If you leave a review, you'll be entered for a chance to win a free golf lesson with Meredith. Follow Meredith's social media for giveaway details. And to give a donation, you can click the support link in the show notes. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time here on the Meredith Taylor Show.